Welcome to the Agility in Real Life podcast, Take 5 in Real Life. Now your hosts, Mike Studeman and Jeff Lee.
Hello and welcome back to the take5IRL podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jeff Lee, a partner with agilityIRL.
And I'm Mike Studeman, the other partner in agilityIRL and your co-host for our Take5IRL podcast. Jeff, I hope you're having a great day.
Having a really good day, Mike.
Excellent. Well, one question that's come in a lot in the classes that I know we both teach is, does a Scrum Master need to be technical? So I wanted to give you the first shot at this question. It seems to come up fairly commonly. So Jeff, does a Scrum Master need to be technical?
Yeah, so, what technical means could go a few different directions. A lot of times people are like, do they have to understand the technology that their team is using? Sometimes, that could get broadened to using other tools that are more Scrummy kinds of tools, right? And being more of a user and knowing they exist. In my opinion, it's that second part that, yeah, they should know what's out there. They should know what tools are out there for a Scrum Master to help a team get better. They should know some concepts. We work in the software space a lot, so things like test-driven development. They don't necessarily need to know the details of how to put that in, but how to guide teams in that direction. So knowing those tools exist, very important. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think good Scrum Masters have a whole toolbox that they can draw from. One bin in that toolbox, tray in that toolbox, I don't know the right analogy, needs to be some of those technical practices. I completely agree. I don't think as a Scrum Master you need to be able to do the practice. Certainly if you want to learn that practice, great, go ahead and learn it. But you do need to understand what the practice is, be able to talk to it intelligently, and be able to kind of facilitate the conversation between the developers and the product owner around implementing those practices. I think the one that you gave, test-driven development, is a great example of that. I think if you go to a product owner and go, we want to do test-driven development, most product owners are going to be like, how does that help me? And as a Scrum Master, you need to be able to kind of facilitate between the developers and product owners, say, hey, this is going to give us tighter, more manageable code moving forward.
Yeah, I've definitely found that, even my background of having been a developer for, a number of years that you can count on one hand and have some digits left over, but you learn some of those practices, right? And I found that valuable over the years, whether it's as a project manager, as a Scrum Master, to challenge teams a bit more. When they're, saying, oh, we have to, for instance, do all the technical work in advance before we can start layering in a user interface or any of that thing, right? And so if you've been there before, it gives you a little bit more credibility. If you haven't done it, but you understand that, the idea of a thin slice and doing a little bit of everything, usually I find it helps to, if there are some developers on your team who get some of these agile concepts, really lean on them to help you out. So as a Scrum Master, yeah, there's benefits, but you don't need to know everything.
Yeah, and I think, the thing I would really accentuate from what you said there, Jeff, is having some technical knowledge allows you to ask better questions. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes as a Scrum Master, that's your role in either teaching or facilitating and even coaching, is just asking good questions that invite kind of introspection on the part of the people or persons that you're coaching. I think the other good news is if you are a Scrum Master that wants to improve your technical skill set, you can pair with developers. It's a lot easier, and I'm gonna date both of us here, Jeff. It's a lot easier than it was back in our day when we just had to sit down by ourselves and code out our Java or C for that, or Power Builder. You were a Power Builder guy, right?
I was a Power Builder guy.
And I've just achieved my goal of mentioning Power Builder on our podcast. So
yeah, fantastic. Yeah, you just ruined all of our credibility. One thing I will say, for people who are looking like, okay, how do I build some of these technical things or learn about the right concepts that I should talk to my team about? There are some great resources out there. Like two that come to top of my mind, scrum.org has learning paths. And if you go to whether it's a Scrum Master learning path or the developer learning path, you can click on the technical tools out there and read some blogs, and you're going to learn some things. The Scale Agile framework also has a lot of documentation on their site. Are there other places you would recommend going, Mike?
Well, I mean, it depends. So +1 to both of those. I think it depends on how deep you want to go into it. Looking at software development in particular, some of the free code camps that are out there. MIT has some free courses. Harvard had some free courses. Where you can get a good, solid foundational education without spending any dollars, just a little bit of your time to do it. I think, as we approach our time box here, Jeff, I think the other thing I would say to any Scrum Master is, a good Scrum Master is a lifelong learner. Don't let the fact that you're learning something technical be intimidating. It's just like anything. The more you practice it, be open, to use the Scrum value of openness, be open to new experiences, and work a little bit at it. I think you'll come up to a level that will allow you to help your team.
All right. Yeah, great advice there. Hopefully that's been beneficial to all of you listening, and thanks for joining us in this episode.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the take5IRL podcast. If you like it, please go ahead and share it with someone, as well as like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Also, leave us a comment or a suggestion for a future episode. Again, thanks for listening, and we look forward to you joining us next time on the Take5IRL podcast.